Hey, hi guys, after a long time I am uploading this video of HRM, and this is for SEM 2. Many people have been waiting for this, and I sincerely apologize because I had a tight schedule and could not make video for two subjects, that is HRM and BC. So this is the video for HRM, and probably it might help. Also for BC, if possible I'll make it today, if not then maybe tomorrow. So the first question is about the external factors that are affected in the HR plan. So basically in introduction what you have to do is define what is HR planning. Now HR planning consists of a lot of activities which would include manpower planning, training of the current staff. Then there is say appraisals, performance management. So all these things are included in the HR planning. What you have to do is you define all these activities which are considered in HR planning. Meaning of HR planning, definition of HR planning, how does it help the company, and then you define the external factors that would affect the HR plan. So the external forces, basically external factors refers to external forces. So that can be there are various factors which are there. You have to mention about the type and the strategy of the business, or the nature of the business what you are doing. So basically, if suppose you are into a car manufacturing industry, then what is the industry going through? Or if you are into the hotel industry, then what is hotel industry going in through? So that is an external factor which would affect the business, HR plan. Then there is growth cycle and planning of the organization. Environmental uncertainties like the COVID period, which has suddenly hit the entire market. Time horizons, that is the time period for which you want to really plan the HR activities. Then there is type and the quality of the information that is required for your HR planning. Then nature of jobs or the skills that are required for the organization. Outsourcing, whether you can really outsource your employee staff. Then there is trade unions, economic policies, labor policies. So there are a number of things what you can mention. You can pick up things from Google, and you can write about this, that these are the external factors which would affect the HR plan. And then in the conclusion part, you have to specify why the external factors are to be considered for making the HR plan. So basically, if I take an example and I say that if my company is at a place where labor is recruited at a high cost, so definitely the cost will increase, and I'll have to spend much more on procuring or recruiting employees. So that is again an external factor which is affecting my business. Then the type of business, as I first explained about automobile business, the hotel business. So this is how the external factors would affect the HR plan. Then moving to second question, the second question is about training. So you have to, basically it is a general statement which is given, and you have to analyze the statement. So basically it means that a person who has learned more, he has learned more and more stuff, then he has a stagnant pace and he does not desire to do anything. So that is why it is compulsory for any person to keep on training himself and learn new stuff. So what you have to do is, in introduction part you have to define what is training, what are the uses of training. In the concept part you'll have to define about uses of training, uh, how training is supposed to help the employee in personal and professional life. And then you, in the concept part, you define what are the uses or advantages of training. So a few points which I have mentioned is advantages of standardization. So basically you keep on training yourself, and then you have the advantage of making a standardized project with a product. Even if you close your eyes, you can make that product. So that is advantage of standardization. Then there is the other part of the standardized advantage of standardization is, whatever I am producing, the same equal level will be produced by the other worker once he goes through the training. So that is one benefit. Second benefit is increase in organizational stability and flexibility. So if you have trained skilled employees, they can work on multiple projects, they can do multitasking, so that is stability and flexibility. Then there is assurance, that is definitely the person who's been trained will definitely deliver. Then there is economic utilization, so utilization of assets. Basically all the resources of the company are utilized, because you have a person who's trained, and then he knows how to use the different assets which are available. Increase in productivity. Then there is future labor needs, better modern relations, reduce mishaps at the workplace, so accidents will be reduced, there will be no mistakes that would be done by the employee. Then there is the time for learning, because the person is trained, he would be well qualified to understand things, so the training time decreases. So these are some of the points. There are many points which are available. You can Google search uses of training, advantages of training. And then in the conclusion part, you mention what are the benefits of training and how it is supposed to help a person in the professional life. So this is how we complete the second question. Moving to third question. The third question has two parts, and this is very tricky. I mean, if you read the entire case study, this person was into one particular job, and then he accepted promotion, and he moved to a particular job which was completely different. So over here, the first question is how would you uh, handle the situation as a boss. So what I have done is, there might be people who would say that okay, you can take up training, and you can enhance the person's role, but I would not suggest that. For me, I would say is, first of all, the person who's getting promoted needs to have that potential, and that is why then only that person will be promoted. So basically in a company, uh, when you're trying to go to switch to a different role, or you are trying to take the promotion, the manager, he should be aware whether you have that potential or not. So you have to mention about potential appraisal. Now potential appraisal is basically, the boss will try and find out whether the person has the potential abilities to to really become a manager, or to upgrade himself so that he can have more responsibilities and roles which he can handle. So you have to detail about potential appraisal. In the introduction, you define what is potential appraisal. In the concept part, how potential appraisal helps the company as well as the individual. So for the individual, he will not know what all abilities he has. They are all hidden. And for the company or the manager, once the abilities are been identified which are required for a particular position, the people who would be eligible and who have those qualities will only be considered for the promotion. And so the job will require the right candidate to fit in that particular role. And that is how you as a company find out the potential of a person when he's been promoted. So this is how you write about the concept part. In the conclusion part, how potential appraisal is helping individual as well as the company. So you can detail in some part of this. Now moving to third question, how can these situations be avoided? So the the techniques of avoiding such situation is, you have to once you have a role for which you are looking out for a person, you have to define the competency mapping. So competency mapping is the kind of abilities that are required in a person to perform a particular task. So in the introduction part, you define what is competency mapping, and then in the concept part, you have to detail much more how competency mapping works for the organization. And then in the conclusion part, you define that this is how the boss could have avoided the situation if he would have done the competency mapping, that is identify the different kind of abilities, skills and qualities that are required for a position. The person wouldn't have been promoted, and he would have promoted to some other place where he would have performed better. So you can write about these things. And in third, this is how you complete the third B question. So that's about it. HRM, it's a tricky assignment. Completed. Still there are 10 days to go. Thank you and best of luck.